State of the Union's, in my experience, broke into two types. One where the president lists a litany of things that he wants to do or he wants to do over the year and coming year, and it's usually pretty boring, and most of the stuff doesn't get done. Or States of the Union is where the president gives a very thematic and upbeat, positive view of America and where he wants to take America. I hope it's the second. I hope that we have a very positive speech. I hope it's not too much about the president himself. I hope it's more about where this country should go, how it can get there, and why this country is really on a very good path.
I'm shocked you might think he might talk about himself. Governor
I can't imagine why.
Governor Richardson, of course, the State of the Union's tomorrow night, not tonight. What are you hoping to hear from the president tomorrow night?
Well, I, as a member of Congress, went to a lot of State of the Unions, and my hope is that the president reaches out to Democrats. I hope he's as sensible as Judd is, but my worry is that he'll be divisive again, that he'll play to his base on immigration, that he'll play to his base on many other issues where there's division. Traditionally, State of the Union addresses are, let's come together. And I hope he says that on issues like infrastructure. Looks like NAFTA's getting a little better, the negotiations, that he mentions that he talks about how perhaps on immigration, which is the most divisive issue, we can come to a compromise and avoid another government shutdown. But my hope is that you see a new president reaching out, not just to Democrats, but to people that disagree with him.
Quickly, Governor Richardson, a quick question for you based on your long experience with North Korea. The past few weeks have felt a little bit different. Is there anything that you read into the behaviors or the lack of activity or the sort of rapprochement between North and South Korea that will result in North Korea participating in the games? Is there anything you see there? Is there anything in the air?
Well, I see little rays of hope. I try to be an optimist. I think the North and South getting together on the Olympics on non-nuclear issues is a step in the right direction. I think the sanctions that China has imposed are starting to have bite, and I'll give credit to President Trump for pushing those sanctions. What I hope also, and what has not happened, is I don't want to hear or see the president's tweets preempting his Secretary of State, talking about nuclear buttons. I hope he doesn't do that in the State of the Union. So I do see a little ray of hope, a little bit more potential for diplomacy, a dialogue, rather than preemptive strikes and military operations.
Governor Gregg, what do you think about infrastructure? The president really wants to do an infrastructure bill. Traditionally, Republicans aren't that into spending a lot of money on a lot of projects that never actually happen. If you think about the shovel-ready projects that were supposed to happen under President Obama, how is this going to get worked out within the Republican Party, do you think?
First, let me say that Bill is probably the last person who actually did diplomacy with North Korea, and I think it's great. He thinks there's some hope there. Secondly, on your point on infrastructure, yeah, you can do an infrastructure bill, but you need to pay for it. This shouldn't be passed on to our kids as a debt. I think that a much more intelligent way to go about this would be to focus the effort on skills, specifically getting people more ready to deal in this digital economy throughout our country. And I think immigration reform is a critical part of that, by bringing people into this country who can contribute to our economic strength and add value to our nation. So, yeah, an infrastructure bill can be done whenever they're willing to pay for it. I'd hate to see them do it without paying for it, and I suspect it might be done, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I'd really rather see more emphasis put on actually getting the American worker up to speed to deal in this very competitive world. You know, I mean, there's a 1.3 billion people in China. There's 1.2 billion people in India. That means they've got us outnumbered by about 2.2 billion people. And so for us to compete, we're going to have to be very creative and have a very talented workforce. And I think that's where we should be putting our emphasis.
Yeah.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.